Our guest is Director Joseph Borg, Alabama Securities Commission. Director Borg, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be with you today.
Glad to be with you, and I want to talk with you today about an important subject related to fraud, and it is this area of the fraudster going in with what we call the affinity groups or affinity fraud. How do they convince groups of people to invest in the same scheme?
Well, you know, affinity fraud is very interesting because it cuts across all races, colors, political spectrums, fraternal groups, you name it, we've seen it all. For us in Alabama, you can steal, I've asked, what have you seen in the way of frauds? I say, I've seen more money stolen in the name of God than any other way because of the churches.
You know, the thing that strikes me about the affinity fraud that I think for people to recognize is a lot of frauds require people to lower their guard. And I think that's part of the reason why the affinity fraud works is because they get you to subordinate your judgment because everybody else is buying in and we're all the same. And do you feel like that's a big part of it?
Yes, of course it is, because we are all the community. It's us against everybody else. Well, I don't mean literally against everybody else, but it's us to make money because it's our group that's going to support ourselves. And unfortunately, if you don't do your homework, and again, look, if I met you on the street and said, hey, come here around the corner, tell you what, give me $5,000 and I'll meet you back here in 1 year and I'll give you $25,000. None of us would do that. But somebody in the church says, hey, I've been working on this. This guy's been doing great. I've been making, $200 a month extra. Really? Yeah. How do I do that? No barrier. The trust is already built in. I trust this person. If it's good for him, it's good for me. Now, in a lot of times in the clubs or the fraternities or the churches or the social scenes, that person that is now pitching you is actually a victim and doesn't know it. He's a victim of a Ponzi or a pyramid type scheme. He's given somebody $5,000. And yes, he's getting a 10% a month return.
He's a loss leader and a super spreader.
Yeah, it's a super. You know what? I haven't used that term. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm going to steal that one from you.
Go ahead.
But the point is that he is now the spokesperson who doesn't know that this person's stealing everybody's money. And then you go into the typical Ponzi scheme, left hand, right hand, getting all money back. And eventually it all collapses. And this person's been living the high life on everybody's money. But nobody checks. Because everybody feels that that's a bad thing to do when you don't trust your friends or you don't trust your church members, you don't trust your club members. And the word very simple is this: it's your money. Do the same homework you would do as if this was an investment that you knew nothing about, were interested, but had to learn. Who is it? Are they licensed? Do they know what they're doing? Do they have a track record? Is there any history? And you can't just ask one person. Look, if you ask most people, hey, you ever committed a crime? No. Well, yeah, they probably had a speeding ticket and they did this and the other thing. And most folks, that's fine. But if you're dealing with a crook, he's going to very straight tell you, I'm licensed, I'm this, I'm that. You have to do your own independent review. It's sort of like, and I guess I'll make a point just going off topic for a second if I can. David, you get these emails in and it says, hit the hot link. Of course, that hot link says XYZ My Bank, except that when you hit it, because it's a hot link, it goes to some outfit in East Russia. You don't know who they really are. Well, that's the problem. If you don't know who's behind these investments, it could be some guy behind a computer in East Russia. And next thing you know, your money's gone. Affinity fraud is probably the number one most pervasive super spreader type issue when it comes to all frauds, because affinity fraud can be done whether it's oil and gas, offshore trading, stocks and bonds, precious metals. Affinity fraud is what draws them in, lowers their guard, and before you know it, their money's gone and it's too late to do anything about it.
Well put. These are big issues and people need to be very careful. I love how you put it. Don't lower your guard and do the same due diligence you would do if you met the person by calling up somebody in the phone book looking for financial advice or whatever the case may be. Don't let the fact that other people that say they're doing business with that person cause you to not do your normal, skeptical review of what they're about.
Got to do your homework. And again, I'll make the point. Everybody that sells an investment where they're going to pay you interest, dividends, or a profit has to have a license to do business in your particular state, whether it's Florida or Alabama or anyone else. Do the homework. Check. Who is this person? Well, if he's not licensed, it's illegal.
Right.
You can't do it. Well, you don't want to be part of anything illegal, so walk away. Report it, actually, is what we want you to do.
Yeah. Report, walk, run, get out of there. All right. Very good. Director Joseph Borg, Alabama Securities Commission, thank you very much for being with us. Great information.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
At Holland Financial, we know a strong retirement plan is unique to you. Let's find the right plan together. Holland Financial. Plan Stronger.